Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I'm Army Piper. This is the Piper Academy Network. Guys, we got PPI data came in this morning, giving us some crazy, weird numbers. We're going to explain what it all means to you. Also going to talk about the 10-year, 2-year spread today. And is Bitcoin on the cusp of becoming this narrative that everyone talks about? It's got one shot, one chance, one opportunity to knock it out of the park and show everybody that it is the chosen currency for the world moving forward. Is it going to be able to do that? We're going to break down what all of those facets look like, hence why we have the new Bitcoin logo in our emojis, Bitcoin Diamond, multifaceted currency. Let's go break all that down today and a whole lot more right here on the Morning Market Report. You guys know what time it is. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. Appreciate everyone joining us here, guys. We do have some data that just came in also. Getting a little move here on Bitcoin, as you can see, pushing right back up to our resistance area. Oh, on this side, a little resistance area right there on the golden pocket. We're going to be taking a look at that, talking about it, guys. Bitcoin, man, it's holding up. I gotta give it credit. In all of this macro nightmare that's going on, Bitcoin is definitely staying in a range. And like I said, it's got its one chance, it's one opportunity, it's one shot to do what other things cannot, like gold does, right? And so we're gonna breaking that down. What does that look like on all of the different angles of narrative versus macro? It's gonna be a pretty interesting show. But you know what's more interesting? Superman is my co-host. Let's go ahead and bring him up here. What is up, Mexican Superman, OCGuy in the house? What's up, dude?
Not much. Very happy to see Bitcoin just going back up. We're still not out of the blue, man. I mean, we can still go and hit somewhere around, let me just get it here, 85, 700 and still be bearish because we have a very old trend line in the way. But so far, let's just take it, enjoy it, and let's see our wallet's getting back in green. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we got two new emojis. We got Bitcoin Diamond, which replaced the Bitcoin logo, and then the heart that we used to use for Alexandra G, but she's got her own logo, right? She's got her own thing. Mod Queen. We replaced the heart with Diamond Brain, much stronger than Diamond Hands, in my opinion. So, two new emojis for the members. You guys enjoy them. Plus, today is National Pet Day, which means drop the gypsy emoji in there. It's National Pet Day here in the U.S. So if you got pets and if you got fur babies, drop that in the chat too, guys. We appreciate everyone. OC, we got a ton of stuff. Oh, National Pet Day. Look at that. National Pet Day. Matrix Dog in the house. Let's go get into a lot of this data. I want to first hand it over to you. Let's talk about Bitcoin. I'll go through show what I'm hitting right now on the charts, and then I want you to go in and do the dive in on Bitcoin and talk about its range and how it's been holding up. Because when we take a look at Bitcoin here, we're right back here in this dynamic reactor, quantum reactor, and my golden pocket for rejection. I do think we might get a little sweep of liquidity above this previous wick, and very likely, guys, 50-day simple moving average coming in here with the value area high. This would be the range that I would watch for major resistance. We got a perfect bounce yesterday off the 300-day simple moving average, which is awesome. So can I pet that dog? Can I pet that chart? Right now, Bitcoin looking a lot more bullish than what we're seeing on other charts, guys. Let's go pull up the SPX and then OC. Get ready to talk about this range that Bitcoin has been able to hold. Look at this. A lot of downside, just downside volatility hit, right? On the SPX. We take a look at Bitcoin, though, and you'll see looks a lot stronger. It really does. So I don't know. OC, kick it over to you. What do you see on the chart? And then let's break out all this news because we got a ton of macro data going on right now. So what do you got for us, man?
Absolutely. So let's take a look at what we were talking about yesterday. So we had a little bit of a balloon dog here. So shout out to Alex. Oh, crypto, that's his patterning here. So he told us just kind of like, yeah, the two-legged balloon dog, nice. And yesterday we were talking about the possibility of repeating that balloon dog, right? But as we would start dripping here, well, then that looked like a Chernobyl balloon dog. Nonetheless, we had a little bit of a trend line here, not a little bit, a big trend line in here. And it seems like we went almost right to the spot of that trend line. We had flip of the ribbon, confirm your flip on the ribbon, get on the green areas. Look at that. And right here for me, it is just a little bit of a late entry. I did not cut the flip of the ribbon. I waited to create a higher low. Nonetheless, we already had a higher low here. We formed a higher low here. We get this higher low right there. And we already had a higher high. So where did I jump in? As we cross the 0 line. A little bit of a waiting here, breakout retest. Let's bring chunky candles in here so we can see it a little bit better. There we go. So no filters, no exercise, more chunkiness. All right, let's take a look at it here. As I break through the 0 line in here, I waited for the retest. Perfect, my entry right here. And then off we go. At the first candle as right here, I have moved my stop to entry. So this is my entry right there. My stop loss below the meaningful low. And then I give myself a wiggle room and basically just aiming to this trend line in here to previous highs. Right now, after this candle, move my stop to entry, and that's it. There's something else going on here. Two trend lines, guys. Let me just zoom out and also get rid of my spaghetti because sometimes, all the time, gets in the way. So let me just do that and then zoom a little bit out. Remember that there's two things that we've been talking about for a long time. And first, it is this mega. Last time that we hit that mega from bottom right there, right? Great news is that, yeah, we put on a meaningful higher high. Great news is also that we have put on a higher low. So what's going to happen? Most likely, because we already are having a little bit of a reversal and a goose head, it is that we're going to be having a little bit more upwards because that's what a goose head does before a roll back farther. All right. That is nothing to be scared of for now. And that is because we're going to be hitting this other huge trend line. Look at this trend line. How far have we been counting with it, right? This is from January 20th, right? All the way, here's the last hit, to August the 2nd, all right? So basically it's been just resistance. And then right now we are in a double resistance. This is going to be a pickle. Why? Because if we bounce out of this trend line, all right, and we don't put out a higher low, all right, we are going to still be in a downtrend. We're just putting up inner structure, just like in here. And at the time of bouncing out of that trend line, well then, bye-bye. Well, who likes piñas coladas, right? And long walks in the rain. So hopefully not Bitcoin, because we wanted to break through the ceiling this time. We'll see. Another thing that I would just want to mention before I pass it over to you, Piper, it is that if we're able to break in here, do expect a retracement. Maybe with a little bit of luck, previous resistance becomes new support and we make it. If we make it, I'm looking for a big AF candle in here, all right? And then after that candle, maybe on the median, maybe a little bit after that retracement to put in a very high low. For the worst case scenario, we'll be revisiting these areas right here where the meaningful price action was. Just like when what we did in here, I believe that we could be going upwards. Oh, not that one, upwards, and then downwards here, put up a higher low, a lower than this one, but still higher than this one, and still be bullish. All right. So I'm gonna leave it as is right now, and let me just bring up my, there we go, my areas of big support. So I have a very first area of support right here with my VPVR, and my second area of support right there, where is my liquidation price. Let me just zoom in so we can see a little bit better. And of course, get rid of my spaghetti. Again, big areas of support at 81,500. And then the next area of big support, 78,800. So as long as we keep those areas, I think we're good to go for the next higher high.
Awesome. Yep. And then as Alexander G said there, if you're not into yoga and you have half a diamond brain, there you go. Alexander G, I'm using, that's who I want to be my partner in music trivia, man. Let me tell you, that she's on it. So, OC, I think we're going to actually I'm going to go into the news. But first, I want to give a shout out to Alex O Crypto and the Otter gang, rolling into the house. By the way, Alex O, just broke 12,000 subscribers, and that is absolutely amazing. He's crushing it. Fastest growing YouTuber that I know right now, and also honored to be his friend. So he is family. He's family through and through. He's my bro. So looking forward to Vegas Bitcoin conference with him. I'm going to go jump over to this news. We're going to do a quick breakdown and dirty on the news today, and then I want to get in and start talking about a couple things. I want to talk about PPI. I want to talk about the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report that just came out at the top of the hour. I want to talk about the 2-year, 10-year spread, and I want to talk about what we're seeing on some of the Kalshi bets for economy. There's some interesting stuff over there. So today was going to be a fun show. We're going to go through a lot of data. We're going to talk about some things, and then I'm going to wrap it up today talking about Bitcoin and its multifacets as a currency. So that's what we're going to do. OC, what's up, bro?
Check out the chat. What's big in green?
Family for life, a member for 14 months. Alex O Crypto, bro, I love you, man. Alex O, you've been family in here for, it says for 14 months, but we know it's much longer than that, man. We know that. Oh, that's a $50 super chat in Canadian, which is like $20 in American, but I appreciate you, Alex. So gang, bro. Dude, you're crushing it. 12,000 subscribers. Much love, man. Let's go get into this news real fast, and let's break this down because I want to talk about all this stuff today. It's Friday, man. Let's go. All right. Guys, looking at the news today, checking out the Into the Cryptoverse here, looking at that trend. We are at $2.61 trillion for the crypto market cap right now. Trend is at $3.693 trillion. We are currently 29.33% undervalued according to Into the Cryptoverse. Our risk level is at 48.5, which makes that a 3x DCA. And looking at Bitcoin dominance, guys, with stable coins, it's at 62.29%. Without stables included, Bitcoin closing in on that 70% market, 68.2%. Fear and greed for the day. Let's go check that out. Fear and greed index. Thank you very much. And let's go see what we're looking like here. We are looking like we are at 25, still sitting in fear. Looking at the crypto bubbles on the hourly, we're in the green. On the daily, we're in the green. Looking down here, guys, Bitcoin currently up 2% on the daily, still down slightly on the week by a negative 0.3% there. Bitcoin's at 82, just under 82.5K. Ethereum is at $1,563 as a lot of us continuing to get sold off in the marketplace. So beware. Let's go see any big movers today. Solana up 6.9%, moving up one spot to number 6 here, sitting at $120. Other big movers here. Let's go. Avalanche is up 6.2% at $19.18. Other big moves would be Bitcoin Cash bouncing back up the ranks here to 5.3%, moving up one spot to number 19, and rounding out number 20 is OM. It's Mantra sitting there in the negative. Guys, H-bar giving back a lot of those gains that it pulled in the last couple of days also right now. Let's go and talk about the stock market, the TradFi side right now. Dow Jones, nope, that is pre-market. Can we go to current? There we go. Dow Jones is up 0.18%. S&P is up about 0.25%. NASDAQ is up about 0.33% there. Russell 2K taking a fallback, and the VIX is green. So be very careful. You know, when this VIX is green, volatility index, for those that don't know, we tend to see a lot of moves to the upside, downside, back very quickly. A lot of volatility. It is at 42 right now, not as high as what we've seen it. I do think that this has a chance to go higher. Let's go check out the Europe market from yesterday, guys. Had a lot of green on that overall. And then Asia, the Nikkei and the ASX were red, but Hong Kong, Shanghai, and India's Nifty 50 all coming in the green overnight. Guys, look at the bonds. We are getting a pump-up continuation on the U.S. 10-year, and this is one of the things we're going to talk about today because this is causing a little bit of problems and a little bit of fear sentiment in the market. Oil, unchanged, sitting right at 60. That is its threshold of profitability. And then holy smokes, I love gold. Gold is sitting at $3,245. I think we see gold break $3,300 today. It is very possible, guys. Silver's at $31.58. Copper's on the upside move at 2.55%. Platinum and palladium just over 1% to the upside. All the precious metals are in the green. Let's go talk about the economic data. because this one's confusing. First of all, let's talk about Michigan consumer sentiment. It was expected to be 54.5, 54.4 consensus versus forecast, came in at 50.8. This means that in the Michigan, in Michigan's consumer report, the University of Michigan, they look at this. They are seeing that the consumer does not have faith in the current economy and market. It plunged to 50.8%, the lowest level since June 2022, from 57 in March, well below the forecast. Preliminary estimate showed consumer sentiment fell for the fourth straight month and has now lost more than 30% since December 2024. If you guys think about this, that's about how much we've lost on the stock market. A little bit less than that, but since December. So we are seeing the sentiment in lockstep with the actual markets. Here's the one that confused everyone though. PPI month over month was at 0.1. Actually, it was at 0, and then they revised it up 0.1, and then it came in -4, -0.4. So was expected to be in the positive 0.2, 0.1, came in the negative. And everyone goes, whoa, this means that producer price is lower, right? This is the producer price and inflation, right? So U.S. factory gate prices unexpectedly decreased 0.4% month over month in March. The first decline in PPI since October 2023, following a 0.1% rise in February, compared with the forecast that was supposed to be 0.3. Prices of goods went down 0.9%. So you have to look at that and go, well, that means that's good. That means we're seeing inflation come down. And the producer price for how much it costs for producers to produce goods has lessened. So this is a good thing. Not really. Not really. And we're going to actually hold that right there. And I'm going to bring up OC, and we're going to talk about this because what we are seeing with this data, OC is not even back. No OC. What we are seeing with this data, guys, is something different than inflation. This is actually deflation. And so I did some research and on this, and just to see like when have we seen this before? I looked at the Fred, so on and so forth, just to see what historically has happened, and really came up to we are sitting in a period of deflation, and deflation is just as bad for the market, if not worse. We've seen China going through deflation for the past year and a half. Yeah, we will not see those decreased prices, but it means decreased demand. You can go so far holding on to fight inflation that you send yourself into a deflationary period. And so deflationary equals a sustained drop in price across the economy. It sounds right. It sounds nice, right? Cheaper stuff. Actually, here's the vicious cycle it can cause. When prices fall, it sounds great until consumers delay purchases. Why buy now if I can buy cheaper next month? Businesses lose revenue, can't sell goods at profitable prices. Layoffs and wage cuts occur because companies reduce the cost to stay alive. Spending drops further with lower income and job insecurity. Demand collapses. I'm not going to buy something if I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford it next month, right? Debt becomes harder to repay. The real value of debt increases during deflation. More bankruptcies, especially for highly leveraged businesses and consumers, and banks tighten credit, lessening lending, less economic activity. Hello, credit crunch. Deflation is ugly too. And so we went from a fear of stagflation to a fear of deflation now, guys. And so that is why this information that came out this morning set this market on this rally and then dump and then rally. People are trying to process and wrap their brains around this. And to top it off, OC, let's jump over here to the news cam. And let's talk about this because we have this data coming in too. And this is your US 2-year and 10-year spread, where it's currently at 0.60. Historically, actually just went up to 0.61. Yay. Historically, any time that we've come out of an inversion where we were below zero, like we were way back here. I guess it goes back even further than that, 5-year maybe. There we go. When we come in below that zero mark and then we come back in on the run, guys, that is when we start to see the fears of recession take place, because anything over 0.5 on after coming out of being below zero in inversion, that is a warning sign to hey, strap in, because it's about to get ugly. Matter of fact, yesterday I posted this, and this gave a great explanation of it for you guys. When the 2-year, maybe later, thanks. When the 2-year and the 10-year spread breaks back above 0.5% after inversion, it's not a recovery signal. It's historically marked the start of recession, not the end. The warning came before, the pain starts now. And so, looking at what we're seeing on here, I just wanted to show you guys, this is another fear factor for sentiment in the market, hence that very, very low sentiment report that we saw there, 50.8 from the University of Michigan. Okay, let's go back over and check out a couple of the other things that I have in X marks the spot today, guys, because there's some other things that we need to talk about there. PPI inflation falls to 2.7%, below the expectation of 3.3. This is the March overall PPI. Core PPI inflation falls to 3.3%, below that 3.6. We just saw the first month-over-month decline in PPI inflation, down 0.4%, negative 0.4% since March 2024. Both CPI and PPI inflation are now down sharply. When that happens, that is a further confirmation of PPI, because PPI by itself would not be necessarily, hey, we've got deflation. But CPI, the consumer price index dropping, and the PPI dropping into those sharp drops are both indicators also of recessionary and deflation fears, right? So we've got those two things going on top of the data that we have here for the spread, which is now going up again. So a lot of fear factors taking place, guys. So let's go jump over, and I want to talk about the Kalshi. So if you guys go to Kalshi and you click up top, and you can go under economics, this is just giving you, and I use this as a gauge for a lot of the sentiment. How are people feeling about sentiment? So let's just look through here and see how they're feeling about the economy in general. Is the Fed decision in May, is it going to be no change or a 25 basis point cut? 75% are saying no change. I actually think that if they do this and we get no change on the Fed decision in May, FOMC, if they do not cut rates, I think that we are going to be in massive, massive trouble. They have got to cut rates in May at this point in order to fight deflation, guys. They need to get money, get people to have money to want to buy back in, right? So there's one factor there that's not weighing in our favor. Inflation in April. They are thinking that it is going to be going lower, right? So they're seeing inflation drop. What else was in here that I wanted to go over? U.S. GDP growth in Q1. Will it be above 0.5 or above 1? They're actually calling for it to be a lower GDP. It's even possible we see a negative GDP. For the record, I think you guys need to keep track of that. Atlanta Fed now, they're the only outlier, but they are actually calling for a nice negative GDP. Looking for the chat here. Crypto Alt Delete said, seems like a regression to the mean after a huge inflation jump for years. Yes, it is. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. What else we got here? Recession this year. Yes or no? Right now, it looks like it's a 62% chance of a recession going on this year, according to the consumers in Kalshi, the bettors, the gamblers. What else was in here? There was another one that I wanted to show. How much core PCE? Nope, we got that one already. Unemployment. They are calling right now for unemployment to be above 4.2. There's a 37% chance right now, according to sentiment of the consumer, that we will see above 4.3 for April's unemployment rate. And is that it? Yeah, I think that was it. Let's go back here and talk about it, OC, because there's a lot of interesting data coming out on the consumer perspective. We've got 10-year, 2-year, which again, that is a loud siren going off for everybody. Be aware, possible recession, right? And then we get, what other factors do we need to see that take place with the recession? I've talked about this before. We need to see lowering job numbers. We need to see the collapse of the economy. When you get a negative PPI, that it means demand has just dropped. People are concerned about buying anything, going into debt, so on and so forth. So Now we're seeing that with a lessening of CPI, consumer price index, and then we've got the possibility of rising inflation rearing its ugly head very quickly with tariff data when that starts to come in. Because remember, we don't have tariff data in any of these reports yet. The effect of tariffs is not in our data yet because they just started this week. So, OC, what's going on here? How do you feel about this? Like, is this a big, huge red flag? And how does this make you feel, which we'll get into this next topic in a minute, about Bitcoin's resilience?
All right, so let's get started. Let's go for pieces, right? Just like Drake the Riper mentioned. So first, I think we need to talk about what's going to be the sentiment, and I think we're seeing it right now. We're going to be having things that looks to be fine, right? So that we're going better. So all right, deflation, right? Yay, let's buy. All right, maybe we could be seeing some more action in the market, right? Some other things pumping ahead, right? I mean, gold is just incredible. I mean, it hasn't stopped rising. That's another red flag for me, right? So, what do you do? I mean, I think we're going to be seeing a phase of instability, right? A lot of pumps and dumps, pumps and dumps, pumps and dumps, and I think that's going to take up to 2 months from now. So, starting this last month, right, and up to the next month. After that, that will depend on how we play out our cards. If we're going to be just straight going downwards from now, or if we're going to start kind of like stabilizing, having a bigger range, less volatility, and therefore more stability, right? Resilience on Bitcoin. Let's remember that we need to have a recession, however kind of recession we need. All right, either soft landing, hard crashing, flip flopping, I don't know, ping ponging recession, whatever kind of recession we need it. With that deflationary segment, I think there's more that it can be done. Why? Because so far, as long as I do remember, I haven't seen a deflationary factor within the same alerts of a recession. Usually, it's a red flag, but I don't know if we're going to be seeing it within this period, which we are at this point. But how long is it going to last, right? I think that we could be, or not we, the government could be playing out its cards right, and then using that sentiment to turn it bullish for people, right, or for investors to go back into the bullish scenario on micro movements to the upside, basically pulling up, pulling up, pulling up on that hard crash economy. Resilience on Bitcoin. If the rest of the economy, if gold keeps going upwards, and then the market, the traditional market, keeps kind of like ranging downwards, I believe make money great again, nice. So I believe that we might have a chance to range solid on where we are right now on Bitcoin and then take off. So basically, the money will be circulating now from gold to Bitcoin, hopefully. All right. Where am I taking this information? I'm just taking it out of theory. All right. What is the theory? That finally we can start seeing institutional money jumping back and forth from gold to Bitcoin because of the volatility that we have and because of the certainty that there is finite, right? And that is what I got in mind. But what do you think?
So I actually I wanted to know, with all of these things going on, U.S. recession fears, right? Global economic contraction, we're seeing that. The DXY collapsing, that thing is under 100. I don't know what it's at right now, but it's definitely dumping hard. Gold is, I think, is going to hit $3,300 today. And so I said, okay, based on all the narratives of Bitcoin, we've heard them all. It's digital gold. It's a hedge against inflation, so on and so forth. For the most part, it's been a risk asset. I've talked about this on X, and that is the true fact of it. It's reacted like a risk asset, but not as bad as other risk assets, which is a very interesting thing. So maybe there's some sentiment change going on where how people see Bitcoin overall, right? Me personally, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. For those that don't know, when I sold at 102.7 WBTC, where the hits keep coming, when I sold everything, I started my dollar cost average immediately. Why would I do that? If I just sold, why would I start buying at what I thought was the top? Because long term, Bitcoin, I think, has one of the strongest basis for success of any currency that we have on this planet. When the narrative catches up, it's going to go crazy, and nothing has outperformed it. So I do not ever want to be without exposure to Bitcoin. I also don't want to watch my profits ride all the way down and round trip the markets. Right now, I've got over a third of a Bitcoin already bought up again. By the way, make sure you guys tune in on Sunday on Billy Goat Tales, because yesterday I realized that not a lot of people understand how to buy Bitcoin the smart way. So on Sunday, I'm going to be on Billy Goat Tales and showing people the difference of buying spot Bitcoin versus buying spot Bitcoin. There's a big difference on how you do it on Coinbase, guys. So make sure you guys go over there on Sunday and watch that, because Billy didn't know it until I showed him. And then he went, "Holy crap, Piper, that's a huge difference." It absolutely is. So join us over there. But I was talking about buying my Bitcoin. I've been buying it up, right? Why am I doing that? Because I believe that the narrative will be there eventually, right? On for one, two, I think that dollar cost averaging, you're building, and the way that we dollar cost average is not a set amount in Piper Academy, guys. We drop a slide every Monday that says, "Here's where we are in the wristbands. You need to get this level so that when you're in lower wristbands, meaning prices coming down, you're actually compounding your DCA." So sometimes our dollar cost average is just a dollar cost average. You do $100, it's $100 this week. Sometimes it is, yes, Coinbase Advanced, exactly, French Toaster. And a lot of people are getting fooled by Coinbase One. So I'm breaking all that down on Billy Goat Tales. We're ripping off the truth. So when we get to those lower levels, sometimes a DCA like this week was DCA times 3. So this week, because it pulled back so hard, we did $300. Mine's 1,000, but I'm just giving an example here. So we're keeping exposure to the Bitcoin. Let's go talk about this. And Chat GPT helped me out a lot here. Good old Pam helping me out here. She said, with all this stuff, why would Bitcoin pump in this mess? Let's go, Army Piper, strap in. Bitcoin bullish narratives and a global economic breakdown. The digital gold thesis. If gold is pumping, it means people are seeking safety from fiat, inflation, and collapsing trust in central banks. Well, guys, we just talked about one of the things about that happens with deflation is stress on the banks, right? So we could very easily see the collapse of banks happening. Bitcoin steps in as gold 2.0. There's your digital thesis. If gold is protection, Bitcoin is supercharged insurance, okay? The DXY collapse, U.S. dollar confidence crisis. Bitcoin is the new digital settlement layer when trust in fiat fails. We've already got a big community that believe that already, right? Sovereign debt spiral hedge. U.S. recession plus high debt equals more money printing to stimulate and pay interest into the debt spiral. Governments can't raise rates or cut spending. Bitcoin equals hedge against monetary debasement and long-term debt decay. We're seeing right now where there's no way they can raise rates. They've got to cut rates at this point, in my opinion, or they're going to have even bigger problems. Narrative, Bitcoin thrives when central banks lose control. I think a big boat about to mow you down, Army Piper. LJ said. Look at here. Flight to decentralization. In times of banking crisis or geopolitical stress, people want to self-custody and sovereign money, right? If banks freeze assets or capital control appears like 2008 or Cyprus, Bitcoin will shine. It's always on, borderless and seizure resistant. Bitcoin is the exit door from centralized collapses. Number 5, liquidity crisis equals to print season to Bitcoin party. Recession equals risk off. Yes, Bitcoin can dump initially, and we're seeing that. But when the Fed pivots back to rate cuts and quantitative easing, as they always do, Bitcoin rides the liquidity tsunami. Front running the Fed becomes the name of the game. Bitcoin is the fastest horse in the stimulus fuel game. Absolutely, it is. Global South adoption. As global contraction hurts smaller economies the worst, people in high inflation countries turn to Bitcoin. Examples: Argentina, Turkey, Nigeria are already leading in on-chain volume. Collapse in local fiat. Bitcoin is a daily survival tool, not speculation. This is OC's reason for being in Bitcoin. Literally, that right there, because he lived through this with the peso, and so Bitcoin becomes a survival tool for him. That's why he won't ever sell his Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a lifeboat money in developing worlds. Institutional rotation from bonds and equities. In stagflation scenario, bonds and equities both suck. Gold and Bitcoin are non-yielding hard assets that become attractive. Bitcoin's upside volatility is appealing versus flatlining stocks or collapsing credit markets narrative. Bitcoin is the only asymmetric macro hedge left besides gold. ETF flows continue regardless. Even in a recession, ETF flows may stay strong due to passive investing and 401k allocations. Spot ETFs give institutions low friction exposure for with deep liquidity. TradFi has a permanent Bitcoin on ramp now. And let's talk about this, because when you look at how Bitcoin has performed versus TradFi markets right now, if you're like, I want to maintain exposure, but I don't want my exposure to be the fastest sinking ship here, Bitcoin has definitely held up better than a lot of the ETFs out there right now. So let's keep an eye on the Bitcoin ETF versus your stock ETFs and see which one of those may look more attractive. The halving cycle and scarcity optics, that still maintains its thing. The emissions, the halving cycle, the difficulty standard. If this mess hits during or right after a halving 2024 cycle, the narrative of digital scarcity intensifies, reducing issuance and rising demand equals supply shock. Bitcoin's program scarcity aligns with monetary chaos. And then lastly, guys, the narrative of anti-establishment and anti-CBDC, not so sure that this one's a big one, but right now, CBDC not a big issue. But if we start to see that roll out down the road, guys, then Bitcoin is the protest vote in your wallet. So that is 10 reasons that Bitcoin could absolutely gain popularity, gain investment, and move into the world of your monetary focus in the type of environments that we're seeing on the macro side. OC, you went through a collapse of the peso, and this is right in line with your narrative for why you like Bitcoin so much. Does this have the potential at this point with what we're seeing on the global scale, especially when we see this morning, if you guys aren't tracking, China will raise tariffs for all imported U.S. goods from 84% to 125% on April 12th. We just had this morning. This is continuing on. Does Bitcoin have the ability to be the multifaceted currency? We talked about the multifaceted drill head drilling down on us. Is Bitcoin our multifaceted defense against all of this?
Do we have the potential? Yes. Do we have the potential just now? I don't think so. I mean, this is going to be a hard pass for me. And that, I mean, you're completely right. That's why I'm on Bitcoin, right? I want to hedge against inflation. I want to be safe from the worst case scenario, right? But I'm also buying silver, just so you know. At this point, I'm just, I already have a couple of ounces on silver, and I'm stocking on some jewelry with my fiance, right? I know I'm paying that extra, but I think also it's a good, let's just say, compliment on my part, right? But I don't think that this time Bitcoin is going to make it. Look at the price of gold, right? We don't see the rotation of capital from gold to Bitcoin. We need this crash to show the potential of Bitcoin, right? This is, as you mentioned, this chance, the last opportunity, right, for Bitcoin to make it out. And I believe that we need to show how fast we can hold the price, right, or get back our previous prices before the crash on the markets. We need the financial crisis to happen. We need for people that were not prepared on gold and on silver to seek another way to do that and find Bitcoin to be that tool, right? That's what we need. So institutions look back at Bitcoin and said, hey, we already got it. Let's use it. Let's sell it to a premium to those guys that were not prepared. Exactly like loans happen. Exactly like ETF of gold is, right? Exactly like any supply and demand chain is. So do we have the possibility? Yes. I'm praying for this one to be it. So we don't need a bigger one up next. But is it gonna be like from the beginning in this cycle? I don't think so. So yeah,
Nope, I
that's
see the
my
I see the potential there, but I'm with you. I'm with you on this. I see the potential is there. That's why I wanted to bring it up to people. I wanted to show people why I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. But as of right now, I'm still seeing a lot of risk asset facets up front on this thing. Yeah, I'm with you on that. By the way, New York. New York, good old New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Shout out to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, guys. Check this out. New York bill proposes legalizing Bitcoin crypto for state payments. So New York is now adopting that you owe things here in the state. You owe taxes, you owe this or that. Guys, Assembly Bill A7788, introduced by Assemblyman Clyde Vanell, seeks to amend the state financial law to allow New York state agencies to accept cryptocurrencies as a form of payment. It would permit state agencies to accept payments in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, according to the bill's text. State offices could authorize crypto payments for fines, civil penalties, rent, rates, taxes, fees, charges, and revenue, financial obligations, or other amounts, as well as penalties and special assessments and interest. So, New York, they want your Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin can make it there, it can make it anywhere. Good old Frank Sinatra. So, OC, let's go take a look at gold. I want to look at gold for sure. And then show me what else you're seeing. Like DXY and gold, I think we should definitely take a look at to see how they're looking with this market volatility. And then show us what you're seeing on the altcoin side. We're going to kick it over to you and bring up them charts. Let's go.
Absolutely. Yesterday, let's do a recap of what we were talking about yesterday in gold. Gold, 1 hour. We were expecting to have some structure here, right? Breakout of previous highs, some structure, maybe farther move to the upside. I was expecting somewhere around here with predictive ranges, and then maybe a retracement somewhere around this channel, because that's where the liquidity is at, right? We are going parabolic. I mean, not a parabolic, actually linear crazy, right? But other than that, we just, if you want to jump back in, give it a chance. I know this is crazy, but we don't buy at the tops. If you really want to jump in and you're really scratching for that entry, guys, at least wait for that itty bitty retracement, right? We always got those. Like, for example, going up, retracement, going up, retracement, right? Going up, retracement. How big of a retracement? Easy peasy. Just go over here, get your data range, your price range, measure the retracement, and do 87 retracement, right? Let's in fact cut it out. Like instead of 0.87, let's do 0.70. So we go here to gold, all right? We click these 3 dots, we add an alert. And by the way, this is used to be my last cycle 3% Bitcoin alert. Every single time that Bitcoin dropped 3% last cycle, all right? So I bought Bitcoin, and that played for me amazingly. All right. So at this point, let's do, what is it? A value, no, price. Where is it? Oh man, this is just getting out of hand. Where was it, man? Price crossing, move down. All right, there you go. Move down percentage. And there we go. We have it in, what is it? We measure for 7%, 0.7%. So 0.7% in around, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 bars or so, right? So let's just for good measure do 5 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 6 just to be clear. All right. So, and then we just here, perfect, create, and that's going to be your alert for DCA on the way up. Guys, this is very dangerous. We are only doing this because yesterday somebody wanted to buy in here, and right now there will be, hey man, you told me to wait for the structure. Yes, I did, right? That is the smartest thing to do. But in a fear market with everything's going up, well, then we might be able to just take a little bit of our portfolio, put it aside, right? And not to try to catch highs or after the price, but we're trying to scale in an already upwards market. So far, we are hitting one of my favorite lines right here up above, which is a predictive line, purple line. Usually when we hit that line, we do retrace. So give it a chance. See if that is going to be a retracement, a bigger retracement that we are expecting, and then execute your entries if you want to buy digital gold. All right. If not, you know what to do, you know what the stores are, and just contact a broker that give you a fair pricing on solid gold. All right, that's what I got on gold. You asked me to go over altcoins. You want me to go over right now?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Perfect. Let's get started with the hashtag Ethereum. Oh, by the way, something that I'm just noticing before I move out of the way. Look at, guys, look at the compression that we have. Last time we have that much compression, what happened? Yeah, we scaled up, we scaled up, we scaled up, we scaled up, and then we ranged and dropped. All right. So what's now? We scaled up, we scaled up, we scaled up, we scaled up. Let's just do a quick measurement here because this is very important from the beginning to then the start of the range. From the beginning to the start of the range, we still have couple of I mean maybe within these 2 days. All right, so be careful with gold. We might have that range and probably that instability. Look at how we get started with going up, stable range, destabilizing range, and then drop. All right, same thing we're gonna be looking in here for buying cheaper gold. All right, so again, just take your eyes on it. This thing here is very, very important. Hashtag FETH. All right, let's get started with hashtag FETH. Guys, we should be already out. Yo, man, yeah. I'm not getting over it. Although, I mean, we've been nailing it on Ethereum. Remember the quarter of the entry there on the 4 hours? Let's take a look at it. So quarter on an entry right there. Basically, I believe was right here with a pump, then retracement, same area of entry. Off we go. We're still above the 0 line. Let's measure. Let's add that 0 line right here. Double click, coordinates 0. Okay, against once again, right click and lock your 0 line. Perfect. At this point, we're bouncing off the 0 line. What I need to see or do, look at how precise we were guessing that trend line, just slightly off. All right. At this point, what I need to do or what I need to see are not undecision candles, right? I need to see candles with something like this, all right, that defines maybe the end, there we go, of a movement, and then a bullish candle, an engulfing candle. That's what I need to see, all right? Seems that we're gonna make it. Is this an area to entry? I'm gonna say another quarter of an entry will be worth maybe allocating in here. Let's go for it. But you will need to use your abilities for your stop loss in here, right? If you don't know how to use your stop loss as a tool, go visit yesterday's class on trading with the OC and also the previous chapter 6, 6.1 in recap, right? Watch those 3 episodes because we talked on how to use our stop loss as a tool, not to get liquidated, to get always or to most of the times buy the top and still make a profit on it. All right. So we're going to be looking for the previous low in here, adding a little bit of that wiggle room. Are we still above 1? Yes, I'm aiming below the previous high, week high in here. That looks perfect. If we start breaking through, I think that we're going to be seeing this. You close your trading here, all right? And then you see if we are bouncing back down, all right? If we're crossing the 0 line, hedge it out, right? And then short it down. Not financial advice, just a possibility, just an idea of what you could be doing. If Ethereum, there we go. Litecoin, look at that, just acting exactly as we were expecting, speculating, right? Exactly as predicted. We already have a very solid trend line in here. Let me just push it in here. Perfect. And we are not reaching this area. We need to take the previous high. If not, most likely, we're going to keep rolling around like this, all right? Be careful. We're just breaking through support, through resistance. So let's see if we can make it support and off we go. How will that look like? Like a goose head. I will be looking for a goose head for farther down and then moving downwards. I'm going to be setting my alert right there and also right clicking here and add another alert. Let me do one more thing here. Let's lock that trend line. OM looking all right. Not that bad. I mean, after the pump and dump, this thing is behaving. All right. I need to draw a trend line, but this trend line is just out of the ordinary. This will be a breakout retest. We will also could be making a statement. Although, let me clear this up. We are above or at dynamic reactor, our volatility is low, and we're pretty bullish so far. All right. Why are we that bullish? And you're gonna be seeing, hey, there we go, exactly that, jumping back and forth, even to a 4 in here, and that is because we could be losing dynamic reactor. If we lose dynamic reactor, but we have a predictive range, you see that we're holding very strongly. But if we lose predictive ranges, strap on. All right. So what I'm gonna be doing here, it is trying to ignore this low. Let me go for this trend line, and I'm gonna be tempting to break out here, retest, and off we go. All right. The other way, it is take your entry right now, set your stop loss, and do exactly the same thing that we did with, or that we're going to be doing for Ethereum, aiming below the previous high, our next significant low in here, maybe all the way here. Give a little bit of a wiggle room. Are we still above 1? Yes. Maybe you can do 1/2 or 1/4 of your position right now as we are speaking. Let's do it right here. All right. And then aim at your next meaningful low in here for another half of your entry. All right. If we are saved like this, as soon as we're touching this area, remember, you're going to be averaging down, get out at profits, head switch it, and off we go. This is because we are on uncertainty area. All right. This is not recommended. I rather see breakout and traded retest, but I know that we are on Friday, and you, just like me, are feeling the itch. All right. I will be trying to control myself and not to buy at these areas, but I absolutely gonna be maybe taking 1 or 2. Which ones? I don't know. FOMO will dictate the way, right? So, other than that, I think let me throw it back to you, Piper, so you can maybe talk about anything that you have on your site.
Absolutely. Mark Dutch said timeouts are fun. Mark Dutch, I won't time out you today. I promise. We had our question up here, and I want to talk about this one real fast. First of all, BC Port Corp gave a $2 super chat. Appreciate you, BC. Said the U.S. dollar and the Japanese yen are at scary levels. They are. You should also check out the Chinese yuan versus the Japanese yen and look at that chart too, BC. I think you'll see some interesting stuff with both of them. Yes, the U.S. dollar getting weak, super weak, and the Japanese yen not doing so much better. So, but we had a question from Fifi Third Frog after Pepe and Hoppy. So let's go ahead and he asked this question here. He said, "Oh, get back up there, sir. Get back up there. There we go." He said, "If you had to choose between VeChain and Kaspa, which one would you choose?" Great question. So me personally, I think VeChain was very strong last cycle. Didn't hit what people thought it was going to do. They thought it was going to go to, I think it was $1 back in 2021. I don't know that it has as much going on the chain for VeChain as what Kaspa has. I'm not a big fan of either one of them, but if I had to choose, I think I would. Geez, if Kaspa does some changes to their mining setup because it's become non-profitable, not profitable to mine, then I would lean more towards Kaspa. I think if I had to choose between the two right now, it'd be VeChain. But if I have the choice, which I do, I wouldn't touch either one of them. In my opinion, there are way better altcoins in the sector to touch besides VeChain or Kaspa. So there you go. I mean, Vet probably has more potential than Kaspa, but not going to touch either one in my opinion. So there you go. So what else we got here? We had I want to talk about this. Let's jump over to my chart. I want to show you guys something on Bitcoin in here. I'm going to go ahead and hit send. You guys can actually take this. This is my chart. You can open that on TradingView and then go up top. You're going to go up here and you're going to click this and you're going to make a copy, and then you'll have all of these levels on here. I want you guys to have these because if you don't have them, then you are missing out on some really good trade levels, because my golden pocket here on this current 4-hour candle was the top and the bottom. Yesterday, we almost hit it. We rejected back here on it. The 300-day moving averages, you also will have this on that chart, and you can see down here how the 786 plate is amazing support. If we go in and put this on the daily for you guys, you'll see the levels and where these are pulled from. So if you don't copy that chart, you can just do it from this level to this level here. Put it on the daily, go back and mimic this, pull your fibs, okay? The reason why I think you guys should have these is because you can see the levels that like the 382 has played, all of the levels that the 50 has played, how the golden pocket has played, and now how the 786 is playing. I want you guys to have these on your chart. So I shared that with you. Hope that helps you guys out. Right now, guys, on the 4-hour, we are getting a little bit of a sell-off and heading back down to the 0.66. I think that if we get sell-off today, we're probably heading down to 78,401. That would be the level to watch. If we lose that, back to the 786 for a revisit, and very possibly because we had a double bottom. And as LBC said last night, when you have those double bottoms, you tend to liquidity sweep because there's a lot more liquidity down there. You want to see it? I'll show you. Let's go over here and throw a fixed ranged volume profile on here. And I'll just show you the amount that is sitting right here at this level. Pull it. This is coming from this level to here. You'll see there's a nice node right there of volume. So your guys are going to want to put that, watch for those levels down there. It's coming in at about 74,200. So, all right, OC, I think that about wraps it up. I think we went through some good data today. You got about 4 minutes to head over to your class at Chart Prime. We are going to be going live. I am with Crypto Billy on Sunday, so I'll see you guys there. Make sure you tune into OC's Trade Live with OC because he's doing some amazing education programs on the evening time show here. And then Monday morning, we'll be back for all of this. This weekend, guys, remember, volatility, low volume, so volatility very possible. If you guys are going to trade, please use some risk management. OC, appreciate you as always. Tell these people what happens to Bitcoin if they smash that like button.
If you smash that like button, not only the holes in your underwear are going to get fixed, but also the price of Bitcoin are going to jump up. So do not waste the time for this double opportunity. Remember, Piper Academy only plays when you clicking that like button, give you power-ups.
Very true. And don't forget, it's National Pet Day. So go find your furry fury and spend some time with it today. My dog will be home today from training for the weekend, so I'm looking forward to that, guys. We'll catch you guys back here next Monday morning for the morning market report, guys. Until then, trade safe, use some risk management. What's up, OC? What do you got?
Yeah, I was about to just say, you know what? Yesterday we were just talking about something. I don't know. I said that was my idea. What if we get a J Violet emoji?
Yeah, she messaged me and I said, we're all out of emojis until I get more members. We have to have more members for more emojis. So appreciate that, though. Yeah, she already hit me up. So words have meaning and they entice people to go, hey, where's my emoji when I don't even have enough emojis for what I need right now. But thank you, OC. I appreciate you. No more emojis until we get more members. All right, guys, we're out of here. We're going to catch you guys. We're about to head over to Dano Crypto. And when you guys get over there, drop your graduation cash. We'll catch you guys Monday morning. Till then, trade safe. And as always, peace. Much love.
I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels flow low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCGuy, form a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels flow low. Sound off
to get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!